In this tutorial, I'm going to show you a few things to look out for as you're working in After Effects, working in the workspace of After Effects, and some little tips and tricks you can use along the way that might make you more efficient using it. I haven't talked much about these panels on the right other than the preview here. Make sure you're in RAM preview. And auto resolution usually works, but if you're having trouble because your animation's far too complex, then you can always go down to half quality. Okay, I just keep it in auto unless I find that my program is kind of buffering a lot or chugging a lot. Okay, well, I haven't talked about effects and presets. I won't really be talking much about those at all, if at all, because we've done all our design work in Photoshop. Some of this is related to the same kinds of filters and effects that you can do in Photoshop. The character panel here is where you can change your text properties. There's a bunch of settings here. I'll do a separate tutorial on adding text in After Effects if you're doing a standalone project, not designing first in Photoshop. Okay, and we have the paragraph for alignment. We can left justify, center justify, and right justify, and then window. You can also use this alignment tool to align things inside your composition window. Okay, so align will help you center. For example, if I go to my views layer, maybe I want to put it dead center of the composition. I'd be in the align panel and I'd use this control here, horizontal center align. It's going to align it horizontally in the composition window. So there it is. It's in the center now horizontally. Let's get it vertical now, and the vertical center is right here, and that's now put views, the word views, dead center. Okay, I don't want to do that. Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. Remember, Command Z, back, 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 back. It's not like Photoshop. It's not an undo, redo. It keeps taking you back, 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 back. The more you hit Command Z. And if you want to go forward, you go Shift Command Z. Okay? So let's leave this area here. Let's look at my layer stack. And this is from a Photoshop project that I just use as a sort of teaching tool. First thing you notice is I've got, look up here, somehow I've created some kind of an empty layer by mistake along the way. So if you see things like this, layers you don't need, highlight them and delete them. You might see, for example, title safe. Well, we don't want the title safe brought into After Effects where it's not going to be part of our final project. So I'm going to select it and delete it, title safe. Okay. The other thing is oh, look, right now views is not very well centered on this flag. So I'm going to just select the views layer. I'm going to go to my selection tool and I can still edit here in After Effects, and I'm going to move it to this point here. What did it do as far as transform? Anything? Did it add any keyframes? No. But if I want to tell the program, okay, let's leave it there, I'm going to actually just use my arrow keys and nudge it down a bit. Select my views, arrow key down 1. There we go. And I want it to live there. So maybe now what I could do is set a position keyframe at the very start of the composition. I'm going to go to 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, takes me right to the very beginning of my composition. I'm going to put a position keyframe for views at that point, just so that that is its new position. Say I changed my mind from Photoshop. Okay, so I've got that there. Now notice I can't see everything else. Why not? Because I did animate some things. So I'm not seeing everything. If I take this down past 15 frames or past a second, my play bar, you'll see there's views, the layer is selected. Annoying because I can see the bounding box. Just click off and there you go. There's the new position. Okay, now let's close up the views layer. What happens if I want to see, maybe I want to go to my red rectangle and I want to see what transformation I've done on the red rectangle. Well, the shortcut to see any transformation you've done on a layer is you do it like this. You select the layer, hit the letter U, and it'll bring up any transformation property that does have keyframes on it. See? Scale. So I know I have done a scale transformation on the red rectangle. If I want to get rid of this, hide it, just go U again. It hides it. If I go UU, it brings up all of the properties of that layer. There's all the properties that I brought in from Photoshop of that red layer. Look at that, a lot of stuff there. Okay, so I could edit any of this and I could animate any of these properties. But the only one that we've really animated is the scale. Okay, that's for the red rectangle. So again, I'm going to hit U again to get rid of that. So U will bring up anything that you've animated or transformed on that layer you have selected. UU brings up all of the properties, and then U gets you back. Okay, what if I want to look at my entire layer stack and say, oh, what have I added animations to? Well, I can select by clicking and dragging all of my layers at once. Now watch this. I can hit U. It brings up all of the layers on which I have keyframes. And there's the views. I just added the position keyframe because I put a new position in for it. Okay, so there's the previous animations for the other three layers, the white shape, the red shape, and the flag. So there I can very quickly see when things are happening, when animations are. So I can look here and say, okay, at this point here, if I go to this layer now, this is the flag layer. If I go just to the flag layer, I can navigate on the flag layer between the two keyframes and see what time things are happening. There it is, 16 frames. Maybe I say, oh, let's make that 15. So I could actually edit it at that point. But I see where things start to happen and finish happening in relation to each other. Kind of handy, right? If I hit U, it gets rid of all of it. So again, select all the layers, U, and U again to hide. U, actually I don't even have to select the layers to see this. Okay, so just hit U, all the layers in the stack, I can see the keyframes. UU, now you got a bit of a mess, right? You can see all of the properties for all of the layers. They all open up, okay? Less likely you're going to use that. Hit U to hide that again. But you might want to go select and maybe command select the red and the white and go UU. And then there's the properties all opening for both the red and the white. See that? All the other properties on the other layers have not opened. U gets you back. Okay, now how about safe title in After Effects? If you're designing something, let me just take this down a little further so we see the whole graphic. I just moved views, the views layer. Let's make sure it's actually in safe title. How do you do it in After Effects if you don't have your safe title from Photoshop brought in? There's a grid here. So in this grid you can look at different things. I'm going to use Title Action Safe. And remember, there it is there. Action Safe is this outside one. That's the new title safe for us because of the new style of TV. So we're going to assume that the title can stay anywhere inside of Action, the Action Safe line. This is the kind of old title safe. Look at how much less real estate you have. So views would just be staying within safe title in the older version. If I go to look at Drake here, Drake is not in title safe if we go with the old title safe parameters. I'd have to bring it in quite a bit. See how the D and the R are outside of this line. So we're going to use the Action Safe, and Drake is well within. Views is well within this bottom line, the word the. So any words, characters, letters have to stay inside of there. Any logos or any photos have to stay within there. Okay, so that'll pretty much wrap up some of the tips I wanted to show you here. Basically managing these different layers, I can select them all at once and I can delete them all at once if I chose to. So select and say, oh, I've made a big mistake, delete, they're all gone. Command Z, bring them all back. Deselect. Anytime it's gray like that in CS6, it means that layer is selected and you get that bounding box. Okay, so I hope that's useful information for you to help you navigate your way around. I will do a text tutorial in After Effects as well as a couple other sort of key animations that you may want to do in your own designs.